What's up guys, Stu here. So around this time, all the way back at the film festival in 2016, Mr. Barry Jenkins delivered the goods with a little film called Moonlight, which, let's call it what it is. It's pretty much a masterpiece. I adore that film with my whole heart. And this year he's back with If Beale Street Could Talk, which is an adaptation of James Baldwin's novel of the same name, which, side note, I haven't read. You notice a trend. I don't read a lot of books, guys. Clearly I'm a film guy, but I managed to catch it yesterday and oh man, is it good. Now obviously I had huge expectations for this one, just coming off the back of Moonlight and how much I absolutely adored that piece of filmmaking and what Barry Jenkins was able to create with that story. And I don't want to say I'm disappointed with If Beale Street Could Talk, because I'm not. I still absolutely loved it, but it didn't quite hit me and hook with me as much as Moonlight did upon first watch. And if you haven't heard about it or haven't read the novel it's based on, essentially the story here is about a girl that's trying to clear the name of her boyfriend who's being trialed because he's been accused of rape by another woman. And on paper that sounds like a story that's ripe for some genuinely heavy dramatic moments. And it is, but typically Barry Jenkins comes at it from a very pure kind of humanist approach, and it absolutely pays off in the most beautiful of ways. Firstly, I really adored the central relationship between Tish and Fonzie in the film. It's perhaps the crux of this film, and it works amazingly in all of its beautiful little touches, and is brought to life wonderfully by the fantastic central performances from Kiki Lane and Stephen James, who play Tish and Kiki respectively there. I just thought they completely inhabited these characters and were a complete joy to watch. I really loved Kiki Jane in the lead role, and Stephen James' performance is the sort of thing which just gradually unravels throughout the film, and you just find yourself falling more and more in love with the dude. And the chemistry between the two of them feels like a genuine real-life relationship. It feels like something that's been happening since way before the camera started rolling, which is perhaps the best compliment you can give to any on-screen relationship. But also we've got folks like Regina King in the film, who I adore. You guys know my thoughts on Regina, and she delivers the goods here. She's absolutely fantastic in every scene she's in. Great in the more comedic moments, which I was happy to see littered throughout the film, but also fantastic in the more dramatic elements of the film. And Jenkins, who is writing credits here for adapting the screenplay, absolutely elevates all of these performances with these incredibly rich, lived-in characters. They've all got their various different pasts and experiences, and you can see how those have molded them into the characters they are today, which is no small feat on the writing front. And that's one of my favourite things about all of Barry Jenkins' work at this point, is that he's got such an incredible way of being able to tell just the experiences of a character. And the most wonderful thing about the way Jenkins approaches that is that it's not just in its dialogue, it's not literally told to you how these characters have got here. It's in the glances, it's in the small moments between characters, the touches, the interactions. He's got an amazing way of imbuing a moment with so much rich history to it. Everything that happens in this film, every moment in every scene feels alive with some kind of life and history, which in many ways is just an extension of exactly the same thing we saw in Moonlight, which made that film so great. It's present here. Loved it. And sort of snowballing on from that, he also has an amazing way of being able to imbue every scene with this kind of, I guess, political, racial undercurrent, but in a way that never really makes it feel like it is this big kind of political issue that it's tapping into, these big topic subjects, these buzzwords. You're sort of eased into learning about these characters' experiences, which do tackle into these political issues. The whole thing is just so admirable, the way Jenkins is able to tell this love story so effectively and with such poignancy. Oh, loved it. But much like Moonlight, the score is such an integral part of this film, and I thought it worked wonderfully. Incredibly simple motives which work so effectively to evoke the emotion that you're seeing and everything else in the scene. Probably one of my favourite scores of the year, to be honest, although we have had a lot of good ones this year. But again, on top of that, I love the way that Barry Jenkins is able to use the music within the world of the film that these characters are hearing to help him capture the essence of what makes these characters tick. There's a scene in this one where Fonzie and Tish first have sex together, which really did feel quite similar to the diner scene back in Moonlight in the way that it uses music in the world of the film that we're watching. It's really effective and just works as another layer to tap into the mind of the characters that we're seeing here. And again, much like Moonlight, Barry Jenkins here is able to create so much from the smaller moments in the film. It's often the smaller, more kind of, I don't want to say empty because they're not empty, that's just the wrong word there. But I guess the quieter moments have just as much, if not more, weight to them than the more obviously dramatic beats in the film. It's just all part of this way that Barry Jenkins seems to be so naturally able to create this rich tapestry of human emotion, which is probably the most pretentious sentence you've ever heard come out of this mouth. But it's true, it's an incredibly sensual experience, from the writing, from the music, from the characters and performances, down to the visuals. I mean, it's a gorgeously shot film. It's one of the better shot films of the year. The cinematography is stunning here. But it all works so well to create these kind of portraits of human emotion. Oh god, Barry Jenkins, he's just the master at this point of touching into something about the human condition. I honestly feel like at this point, if aliens came down to Earth, we should give him Barry Jenkins as sort of like a, hey, this is how you learn about what you want to learn what humans are like, you want to learn about human emotion and stuff. Just give him Barry. Don't do anything weird to him. Don't put your finger up his bum or anything. Just watch one of his films. The aliens could have a little sort of double bill of Moonlight and If Beale Street Could Talk, wipe away their tears and be like, yeah, cool, got it all. We're out of here. Don't need to invade. I do feel like naturally with having such rich scenes within here, there can sometimes be bits between scenes which feel like a little bit of a lull. And if I'm honest, I felt like I should have got more from the very, very ending of this film than what I actually ended up getting. But again, I do feel like this one needs a rewatch. I can't help but feel like my adoration of Moonlight slightly hindered my experience here. So I can absolutely see my opinion on this one going up, but as it stands, I did really, really love If Beale Street Could Talk. I thought it was a beautiful, gorgeous, moving, sensual experience. Seriously recommend it to anyone that's a fan of Barry Jenkins' work already. But what about you guys? Have you seen If Beale Street Could Talk? If you have, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and how does it compare to Moonlight for you? Is it better? Is it worse? Let me know what you thought down below. I'd love to know. As usual, if you like this video and you do want to see me talk about more shit, please do consider clicking subscribe. Really helps me out, but also new reviews from the film festival. There's still a bunch to come. They'll be coming every day, so make sure you subscribe so you're not missing out on any of those. Also, if you haven't already, links in the description down below for the StuTalks podcast, where we'll be going into deeper thoughts on this here film, as well as a bunch of others from the festival. So yeah, check that out when it does go live. Links are down below. I'm off to go and cry at the fact that I'll probably never be as good as Barry Jenkins at conveying human emotion through any platform ever. But until next time, stay beautiful, mother truckers.